A little game called Hollow Knight Silksong dropped over the weekend. You might have heard about it because everybody and their mother is playing it, and it is causing quite a stir. And honestly, I really like what I'm seeing out of this, okay? It might be one that I'm going to have to pick up towards the end of the year, mostly because, oh God, I got to get through that slog that is Final Fantasy 15. Listen, man, I'm not giving up on this, okay? I committed to play these games because I wanted to refresh my memory and think, are they as bad as I remember? And yes, they're as bad as I remember. It's kind of funny, right? Because I played 16 and 12 Final Fantasy. We're talking right here, and 12 is as bad as I remember. 16, I don't know how anybody hasn't talked about how atrocious that game is, but I think I might have to get around to properly documenting my thoughts on the subject due to there being just not much else going on throughout the rest of the year. So don't hold my feet to the fire on that. That's just yeah, something I got stirring in the back of my mind. But 15 is probably the most competent one that I've played so far because there's actual characters that I like and that are, relatively well fleshed out. I mean, the world is really nice. The combat is fluid. It's just, it's one of those games, okay? It's one of those games where it does things right. There's a lot of stuff to do. It's not really gelling with me, okay? And there's also a lot of bloat. It's very slow, like your movement speed is slow for no reason at all whatsoever. They don't allow you to fast travel. They don't give you the opportunity to speed up at all whatsoever. It's just a lot. It's a lot of bloat. And the story that they're telling, while it is competent, it's just not as grandiose as they want it to be. And from what I can remember, and especially where I'm at right now, like I didn't even play it over the weekend because over the weekend I was just recovering because my body and my mind has been a little bit flustered recently. So yeah, I took the time off of, imagine that, right? Like it's such a first world problem, right? Like I mostly stayed off the internet. I definitely checked out of gaming. I just, took my recovery very seriously because it has been something that I've been lacking at for a while. But still, what I did check in on was how many people were enjoying this game and are still continuing to enjoy this game, and it's amazing. Right, like on Steam alone, 587,000 people, and that was the peak that was reached Saturday night or something like that. I think, yeah, Saturday. Great for it, absolutely tremendous. And yeah, you take a look, and Hollow Knight Silksong nears 3 million copies sold on Steam alone. We haven't got the official update from Team Cherry or anybody affiliated with the game so far, but yeah, it's a hit. It's a phenomenal hit, and it's causing so many people to melt down because of it. Because here's the thing, man. Okay, you sell 3 million copies, and that is great. And even though, yeah, Silksong's price is $20, so it is reasonable that known game pirates, okay, get this one, okay, so $20 for a game that is so phenomenal, that is so flush with content. It's such a good price that known game pirates are encouraging people to just buy the game itself instead of stealing. Other fans believe they underpaid for the game and want to give Team Cherry more money. Imagine that. Imagine being a developer, okay, in today's day and age, and delivering more value than what you're charging for. Instead of trying to nickel and dime your audience, you provide them with an overabundance of content. And the media, oh boy, the games media are big pissed about this because you take a look, okay, the games that they prop up, your Star Wars Outlaws, your Assassin's Creed Shadows, all of their battle passes for their live service games that are out there that people will play for a minute and then forget for a lifetime. They're wondering why they're failing with such rapidity. Meanwhile, games like Hollow Knight Silksong, Clair Obscur Expedition 33 launched at $50, made a couple of sales earlier this year, if you recall. Then you also had, what was it, the Oblivion remake. It came out at $50, and it had, over 1 million concurrent players on Steam alone, even though you could go ahead and get it on Xbox Game Pass. It's almost like it's easy to see when you provide value, when you do something that the audience likes. We talked about this, I think it was yesterday, in regards to, the new Conjuring movie having the best opening weekend for a horror film. I don't think anybody's seen that one coming. But when you give the audience what they want, okay, it's really not Hollywood fatigue. It's not franchise fatigue. It's not gaming fatigue. It's not any of this stuff. It's when studios, it's when developers, it's when creatives give the audience what they want, or they just simply make something so good it is undeniable. People are going to turn out for that. It's not fatigue. It's not any of these other goofy terms that's causing, industry around them to collapse. It really is as simple as a lack of talent, because both Silksong and in the lead up, yes, the original Hollow Knight, are setting player count records by the minute. So yes, Paul Tassi, the author, I just went to check to see how Silksong was doing on the Steam player count charts, thinking that we were past its peak and I could write about how it maxed up. But yes, over the weekend, it actually, climbed up even by the time that he wrote this. But Silksong just passed up yesterday, 562,000 concurrent Steam player count. Stunning number for a $20 indie game. Like, the way that the games media just wants to dismiss this as a $20 indie game, but then prop up huge successes like Dragon Age of the Veilguard. Yeah, 89,000, get woke, go to the top of the charts, bro. So obviously boosted by its mythological status after 7 years of waiting from fans. If it, peaks on Sunday like some games do, it could, push closer to 600,000, if not pass it. Didn't quite, but did get close. Yes, that's more than a 500% increase from the max of Hollow Knight players, but again, Hollow Knight is setting its own records minute by minute. The original has, which released 8 years ago, has 85,000 concurrent players, which is 4 times that of its previous peak back in 2022. It must have been on sale, and I think I have a copy of it. I haven't played it. I'd imagine that I do, because it was probably part of some bundle that I picked up over the past 8 years. But it shows that people want good games. People want good movies. They will turn out to see them. They will watch and they will play. If you build it, they will come. And so there are successes out there. There are obvious points of comparison to draw. If you want to be successful in this business, be like Sandfall Entertainment. 33 people made what will probably be, and if not the game of the year, at least in contention with Silksong in that conversation in a couple of months' time, made Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Everybody just calls it Expedition 33. I might as well just start doing that at this point. But yeah, they don't want to expand. They're happy with the studio size that they have, and they know that they can continue to make good games at that scale with that team. Team Cherry, I would imagine, because they laid out why did it take 7 years to release the game. That's because, we have a very dedicated staff, and we were working as hard as we could, and we don't want to, blow this thing out of proportion. It's really simple, man. We have our path moving forward, and we need not deviate from it, because you could end up like, oh geez, the California games industry accounts for over half of the gaming layoffs. Is video game industry purging itself of activist devs? Well, yeah, because you bloated all of these studios with a bunch of unnecessary hires, a bunch of unnecessary divisions, and it got to a point where, you were spending $200-300 million on a game that would go off and have a fraction of the concurrent player counts that your indie titles were, and they perform about a fraction as well as those indie games do. It's gonna be funny, right? Because I think this week Borderlands 4 comes out, and I'll be paying attention to that because I've been doing videos on that, and hell, I've been tracking that because I don't like the Borderlands franchise. Randy Pitchford is a complete and total spurg, so if that one ends up spinning out of control, that's gonna be funny as all hell to watch him fucking lose whatever sense he has left. But it really is, activist devs and unqualified and unskilled devs. I really think that it really is a skill issue at this point, because I'm sure that there are people that have worked on games that I absolutely love, whose personal politics I don't agree with at all whatsoever. But hey, if they can make a good game, all the power to them. I will support them. We don't have to align on everything. That's totally fine. I'm a grown-up. They're grown-ups. We can move on with our day. But when you hire these game school graduates who can barely code for Unreal Engine 4, let alone 5, who have learned all the same slop that their failed professors couldn't bring to the table for the rest of the games industry, why do you think everything, especially in the AAA space, looks so similar, plays so similar, and performs so similarly? Because they thought that they could get an easy job and push their own ideological agenda, because their other friends that got a gender studies degree, they got a 4-year degree, managed to get picked up at an EA studio, and then is just hiring all of their game dev friends to hop in and kill off a studio that was created and elevated by greater minds. The video game industry has always been volatile, but the latest wave of layoffs has revealed just how much one state dominates the downturn. According to a new report, more than 50% of the job cuts in the global gaming industry layoffs have taken place in California. I really hope Ghost of Yote is good, because honestly, like, for all the promotional material that's out there, I think that it's quite good. Like, it's looking pretty promising promising. There are so many people that just want this to fail because Erika Ishii's a fucking nutcase, but there's nothing about the game that suggests it's going to be Girl Boss Simulator. It's going to be so fucking funny when it's great. For a sector that has boasted record revenues in recent years, not from the AAA space. The numbers tell a troubling story. One that some popular voices are framing as a cultural correction. Amir Savat, a Tencent executive who runs a high-profile job support network for laid-off developers. I think he's the guy who got a special award at the Game Awards last year. Hilarious. Told the game business that California has become the epicenter of the difficulty when it comes to job losses. Savat has tracked tens of thousands of applicants across thousands of studios, and his data paints a clear picture. Over 70% of layoffs in some years have occurred in North America. Historically, North America accounted for 30 to 40% of open roles, and that figure is now just down to 25%. Within North America, California alone accounts for more than half of the global job losses. Fucking A. So yes, put simply, California's AAA studios, home to industry giants like EA, Activision Blizzard, and Sony Interactive Entertainment America, have been cutting deeper and faster than almost anywhere else. So yeah, what's the reason for California's outsized pain are complex, but a few themes keep resurfacing. Overhiring during lockdowns. Yes, big publishers expanded headcounts with the assumption that surging demand would last. When blockbuster projects underperformed, cuts followed. Ballooning budgets. Yes, AAA development costs regularly surpassing $200 million. A single flop can sink a studio division. Live service gambles like Concord, yeah, we just recently talked about its 1-year flop-iversary, collapsed almost immediately, leaving little to show for massive investments and unionization tensions. Exactly. Bring in all these commies and all of a sudden they want to unionize? Congratulations. You created this own problem for yourself. But hey, it's so funny, right? All this doom and gloom, all of this dour, all of these, oh my god, layoffs and studio closures that are just happening in the West. Meanwhile, you have indie developers around the world dominating the conversation in 2025. It's almost like there's a blueprint that's out there. It's almost like if you take a look at your history and realized how a lot of these games, a lot of these franchises, and a lot of these studios began, you wonder what made them successful to begin with, and it has nothing to do with a bunch of entitled hags that just clog up all of these offices that are rapidly emptying out. Examine your past or you're doomed to repeat it, and at this point in time, especially in the AAA industry, I wouldn't be too opposed to the entire bitch burning down. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Conspello. I should follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.